Hey everybody, welcome to Badass Mining Company. We're gonna go ahead and get Tan in here ASAP. Alrighty, and she should be able to find her way in here. Welcome to Storytime Sunday. This is one of my favorite days. And don't worry, I've got it. I've got the coffee made right here, all ready to go. So, hope you guys had a great weekend. I'm preparing for my little trek. Uh, so, hey Nicole, welcome. I'm glad that you're here. We are just getting into things right now. So, Tan's going to be here in just a second. Kyle, welcome. Good to see ya. So, have you guys been noticing all the things that I've been adding on? And I know the website does not go anywhere yet, but you got to remember we're working all on phones right now, so we're just doing the best that we can. So, um, I just put a link to a video for sunstone prospecting that I literally finished watching it within about 10 minutes before the live stream. So I highly recommend it. This guy is definitely a kindred spirit. He is all about people. It's wonky when she's adding. Hello there.
Hi. I was going around.
So
I stopped and I saw some of the posts that you made. I was like, love, like. It's like, oh, it'll tell me when you're ready. So,
yeah.
so
Anyway, I was just talking about the link that I just put up about the sunstone prospecting and uh, how enjoyable that video was. He at the end, he's wondering where all his friends that are on subsistence
excuse
are
me.
because they're not there digging sunstones for free.
Oh, well, we're going to.
So yes, we are. In fact, we set up an event just specifically to go get sunstones and opals
Yeah,
because they're down around the same area. So we're going to
can't
go
wait.
check that out. We're going to hit that pretty hard. So yeah,
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm excited about the Quartzville, but I think I'm more excited about the Sunstones and the Opals.
absolutely. Well, Quartzville is more about it's about exposing people that are in the area that are interested in prospecting to what it actually entails. It gives them a chance to actually be on a claim. Um, there's there's some rules. Unfortunately, it's just not willy nilly digging. It's well, it's going to be explained when we're there.
Yeah,
So anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun. Don't think it's going to be restrictive at all because the claims have edges. So you can prospect wherever there's not a claim, and in a gold bearing creek, I suggest you prospect. So anyway, we're going to have a lot of fun in Quartzville. I wish you all could be there.
me
It's
too.
just going to be absolutely fantastic. Um,
The more
yeah,
the
it,
merrier.
if yeah, but I am going to make a very strong suggestion to everyone. And I know that there's a lot of people that cannot do this no matter what. But with the sunstones and the opals, okay, you actually have a really good chance of making some cash if you come mining with us doing the opals and the sunstones.
Yeah.
Um, we have an in, and we also have experts. So, yeah. Oh, and we also have access to, and we talked about this before, but now it's just a matter of scheduling. Bob O'Black, he is our rock expert. Um, he makes all sorts of stuff out of rocks. Um,
Hi,
he's
Ayla.
been cutting. Hello, Ayla. He's been cutting gemstones and cutting rocks for decades. This guy
Yeah.
is just an encyclopedia of rocks. But yeah, he's one of my dad's best friends. So yep, we're just gonna be talking about scheduling. So I'm gonna go over there and do that. Plus, we also, which I haven't had a chance to talk to Tan yet. Um, we know where a mining manufacturer is that does
Hi,
big
Nicole.
equipment.
It's Nicole. She's on.
Nicole. Yep. She was the first one on.
No, Ayla was. No, Nicole? She's a badass girl.
Yep.
Of course. Hey, though the picture
So
that Sean, the picture that was sent to us, who was that picture sent by or made by?
that was, I can't believe I'm brain farting this. I've gone through so much information today. That was Bill.
Bill. Bill, thank you. I appreciate it. I thought it was really cute. I love how it's funny because you put a hat on me and I showed Sean before the post. I said he must have been must have been psychically thinking about it, and I put the hat on. I do have
Yeah, it was.
I do have a favorite hat, and it's just my garden hat, but it keeps the sun off my head. Because as you can tell, I'm really super gray, and so I burn
It
really
was
easy. But I just wanted to thank you
definitely.
because that was really sweet, and I love the picture.
Or Robert Collins. I am so sorry,
Robert,
Robert. Oh my
okay.
God. Ah,
Sean's been really super busy today because he's moving out of the hotel room and getting ready to do his summer thing, which is living out on everything like, camping out and whatnot, not having to pay rent and not having to pull, a bunch of stuff in. And so you have to forgive him, please. Okay.
I have I have some weird habits. Yeah, I know. I've been made well aware.
He always knows that he has a home waiting for him. He always knows that there's people out there who care about him and that are watching over him. So,
That have coffee waiting for me.
yeah, he has coffee. It's called McDonald's.
Those people always have coffee waiting for me. They say, "Okay, Sean, it's $1 per cup. You brought enough money, right? You got a credit card?"
Well, you can go places like where I work and people bring their own cups and you're kind of like, oh, hi, yeah, see you later.
I used to do that up in Alaska.
I remember we would go to the Tessie, and as long as you brought your own cup, they didn't care how much you drank or they didn't care how much soda you poured. As long as you had bought a cup from them, and then you
I
could,
think they do now.
oh, do they? Well, they caught on.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Nicole driving in Mojave right now, right tonight. Boy, I bet it's gonna be beautiful tonight. I hope you have a gorgeous full moon. Oh, hi
Oh
Angela,
yeah.
honey.
Take
So,
pictures.
oh yes, what my son had never seen a moon as big, or our son, I'm sorry, our son had never seen a moon as big as when we were on a bus going to Idaho, and we got into the desert area, and Kian was like, "What is that?" I go, "It's a moon." He's like, "Is it crashing?" No, just it's just really big. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
But yeah, that was quite an experience. It was epic. Look and see it. Oh, look at that. Yep, beautiful sky. It's gorgeous. It is gorgeous. Thank you for the picture. That is beautiful. So we got the picture, but
Cool.
I that's the one thing I do. I do love and I do miss driving in Arizona. Um, when at night, Sean and I had one of the most extreme experiences in Arizona. Um, he was going to school, and we decided that we were going to go. Well, I decided because this is not his thing to go to the casino. Well, we had had nothing but
I hate
storms.
casinos.
I see, and I like them. So we're going to Akchun, which is out in the middle of the desert. And the thing is that we had one of the biggest lightning and thunderstorms that they had ever had, and that was exciting and scary. Um, there is nothing more intense than watching the Black Canyon Mountains light up, and you see the silhouette and everything, and you just have hundreds of strikes just hitting everywhere. It was intense. It was beautiful. It was really dangerous and dumb that we were out there. And once we got to the casino, they wouldn't let people leave. It was like, no, you're staying here because the lightning strikes were, what was it, 100 strikes per um, half hour, something like that.
Something
But
like that. Yeah.
yeah, they wouldn't let anybody leave, and so we didn't leave till about, I don't know, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So, and we didn't spend a whole lot of money. How's Kian? Kian is doing fine, Mike. He's in the living room right now. He's been working with a friend on designing a game. Um, and he's just been
Dan,
doing,
you realize that you're going to have to type all that in or sign it, right?
why? I have to type it in.
Well, yeah, because he can't hear you.
Oh, that's right.
So anyway, yeah, it was that was a intense storm. We had when we got out of Phoenix. I mean, just as we were leaving Phoenix, we had a monsoon go over.
Yeah.
And if you've never been in a monsoon, they're highly overrated.
You think the monsoons are overrated in Arizona? Are you serious?
Okay,
Is that what
I
you
got the
said?
crap kicked out of me every time that I was in a monsoon, okay? Every time.
Yes, he
I
did.
came in one time and it looked like I had been cut and tortured with razor blades all over my body. I was bleeding
Yep.
from everywhere because of the
He
hail, and I
oh,
was riding my motorcycle. So,
he had a bandana on. He got lost after that.
he's doing fine. We'll chat. So, anyway, continue.
Hold on a minute here. I'm typing to Mike. Um, yeah, he was covered from head to toe. When he walked through the door, I thought somebody had beat the crap out of him. Sean, I can't read your jittery lips on the front of the chat. Okay, but yeah, Arizona. Yes, growing up a kid living, out in the middle of nowhere, and living in Phoenix. When the monsoons come, there's this intense smell. There's nothing like the smell of the intensity of the rain hitting the concrete because there is a lot of concrete there. But it was just, I still remember that smell. It's a wonderful smell. Or, as a kid, we would always, get leaves and stuff to go down the sidewalks and whatnot because they'd all be flooded. Um, but I love the monsoons in Arizona. I love the lightning storms in Arizona. Um, but the one thing I really love is taking off into the desert. And when it's a really super clear night, you get more view of the stars than anything anywhere else I've ever been, except for Alaska. And
Alaska. Yeah.
yeah,
You can't
but
beat Alaska for sky.
because, well, as long as you're away from the population, you get this
Yeah.
incredible view. I always remember out the window, I'd look out the window, and there's always a satellite that went by every single night, and you could tell what time it was by the time that the satellite was going across the sky. But it's I love the night sky. I think it's really sad that a lot of our night skies are gone, unless you go way out in the middle of nowhere. Because if you're in town, you don't see anything. Even in Anchorage. What?
Oh, I just thought of something that I completely spaced off is I have been focusing on getting everything to where I can easily edit it in YouTube.
Wow.
But guess what? YouTube format is that.
Okay. But if I do it this way,
Nope,
okay,
you can't.
I
You
can't.
can't you can't rotate it while it's live.
Oh, well, I
So
can't.
anyway, I'm gonna have to get creative with the editing on tonight's stream. So
Sorry, dear. Anyway,
that's okay.
I just got another picture from Nicole showing where
Uh-huh.
she's at, and she's in the middle of the desert. So,
Sweet.
what are you driving, Nicole? Are you driving a
She's
rig?
Yeah, she's driving a rig.
She
You
is a
should come
bad.
pick me up.
She's a badass girl. Well, you pick him up, you got to come pick me up. I mean, that's just all there is to it. I'm more than happy to go on
Yeah,
a ride with you.
yeah, come pick me up. I'll show you how to prospect.
Yeah, he can show you
We'll
how to
go get some
prospect,
sunstones and opals.
and I'll cook for you. No, my dad was a trucker, Nicole. and he died a truck or two, but he was an old time. Oh, she got 18 wheeler. So, but my dad was he was right out of World War II. My dad went on to be in a trucker, and this is when it was jobs were really hard to find. And I always remember as a little girl, I was like 3 years old, 2 years old, about 2 years old. My mom always getting postcards from him, and the postcards would tell wherever he was at. So that was fun, and I still have all the postcards. Uh-oh, Sean, what did you do?
Oh, I was getting the speaker because I'm going to go outside.
Okay, you go outside.
Power on.
How
Your
long?
device is connected.
No, it's my conference speaker.
Oh, okay.
Pairing.
You're paired up now.
Not yet.
She sounds boring. You're paired up. You're bored. You have a
Ridiculous. Okay.
you lost me.
It sometimes it just goes into terminal meltdown. Using the phones all the time is just not fun, but it is what it is. So,
It is, and I'm grateful to have what we have.
yeah, definitely. I'm not complaining, mind you. It's
I
a
am.
challenge.
I'm complaining about the challenge because it drives me nuts. I get kicked off, kicked on, kicked off, kicked on.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna have to restart the stream because I have to reboot my phone. Obviously, it's having issues. So I apologize. So make sure to rejoin us. Tan, if you're watching, I'm going to restart the stream. I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm going to stabilize it real quick. So I'll see you guys in just a couple minutes. So, how many times does it take to restart a live stream to actually do it the right way? Apparently, 3. So, welcome back to Badass Mining, where we try really hard. We try over and over and over again. So, good time. We have good times here. Well, hello, Nicole. I feel like this is deja vu over and over and over and over and over and over. So, anyway, this is the last time I am restarting the stream. I promise. So, we're going to get Tan back in here. Oh, she's having a hard time again. Oh. Oh my goodness. I've got to redirect her real quick. So, okay. 4. No, 4. 3. 3. I promise. 3. Okay, 10. Okay, she's trying to find us. She's trying. Okay, so anyway, we did not cover gold price yet. I tried. So, go ahead and take care of that. At the very least. I don't know what I did with my glasses. I think I threw them earlier. Really not showing at all. I'm not sure, Tan. I know she'll figure it out. She usually does. She'll find her way in here. Okay, so gold right now is going for $1285.90. So that's $1,285.90 an ounce. That's awesome. So Tan is now watching. Sweet. Okay, we're going to add her. Okay, so adding.
Okay,
Adding.
that was an ordeal to find.
What's
I
that?
said it was an ordeal to find the stream. I was like, are you kidding me?
Well, I'm sorry.
No, it's not your fault.
Nope, I'm.
Do not like your side
Well,
view.
it is what it is.
Well, this side thing is.
Power on.
Okay, so I was just covering gold prices, and we're at $1285.90 an ounce for
Good.
gold, and silver is $15.10 an ounce. Cool. So anyway, we were talking about the extreme trip that we had out to the
Oh, the
casino.
extreme trip where lightning was hitting the palm trees and blowing them up, and lightning was hitting the power boxes and blowing them up right next to them. And yeah, it was interesting. And the fire truck in front of us,
Yeah, he freaked out pretty
that
solid.
was pretty interesting. But that was Arizona. The one thing that, the Superstition Mountains are out through that way, and the Lost Dutchman gold mine is out there, and that has always been something that has intrigued me. Rattlesnakes, scorpions, and those other little crawly creature things, they don't intrigue me at all. I don't like things that slither and creep. Sean, on the other hand, he likes rattlesnake hunting.
Yes, I do.
And I don't mind cooking the meat.
Hey, they're good eating.
I won't disagree with that because I think that rattlesnake is really good.
Definitely.
So,
It's funny. I'll eat rattlesnake, but I won't eat rabbit.
well, I don't know. I guess As a kid, we were always told not to eat the rabbits because, well, we're looking at wild rabbits out in the desert, and you know, I grew up in
Yeah.
Arizona as a child, and then was moved to Alaska, which was really extreme. But it was probably the best move my parents had ever made, and it was the most beautiful place I'd ever seen. It was like another world, which it was, and it still is. But the Northern Lights are incredible up north. I'd never seen anything like them. The first time I'd ever seen them
Yeah.
was up north, and it was early in the morning before we went to school, and I was kind of shocked. And then one of the old natives that lived down from us told us that if you're really quiet, you can hear them, and if you whistle, um, they'll move, which is it's not true. They move anyway. It doesn't matter whether you whistle or not. But they're beautiful. They're absolutely gorgeous. It keeps pausing me.
Yeah, I know. I keep getting the same pauses. I'm not sure what's going
I know
on.
I'm scared. Nicole sent pictures and I'm scared to go look on it, and I'm afraid I'm going to lose something because I'll have to look at them in a little bit, Nicole, because for some reason the tel I have a really good phone. Sean, on the other hand, I don't know what he's got because he gets a whole bunch of new phones, but I've got a really good phone. And there's no reason for me to have any
Well,
problems.
as soon as I get in, I'll get on the other phone and look it up.
So, anyway, we were talking about growing up as kids, remember? Growing up
About
as
what?
kids in Alaska.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. About getting the crap shocked out of me?
Well, that was you. That wasn't me. Me, it was stealing the what the heck? The I can't even remember what the Jeeps off from the base.
Sorry, you're kind of breaking up. I'm having a hard time understanding you. So
Okay, so
I
as
know.
a kid growing up in Anchorage, used to hang around with a bunch of rough and tough kids, and we would go sneak onto the base and steal their Jeeps, and then we would go four-wheeling up through the Chugiak mountain range. And yeah, he asked me about it, and I was like, wow, okay, yeah, I can tell the stories about that now because back then I couldn't tell anybody. But our big thing was to see how far we could cross the creeks. And, you got four-wheel drive and everything. And the kid that I was with, he decided to cross this creek bed, only it was really streaming fast, and gets in the middle of it and can't figure out how to get the Jeep out of the creek, and because the creek water is coming into the Jeep. And me being a dumb kid, I'm like, I don't know nothing about vehicles or anything. And I turned to him and I asked him, I said, do you have it in four-wheel drive? And he turns around, he looks, and he goes, no. So he puts in four-wheel drive and we get across the creek. Well, as we're going across this creek, there's two trees because he's gunning it. And there's two trees in front of us. And the next thing I know, we're wedged between the two trees because he's gunned it so hard to get across the creek. And we were like, okay, so now what do we do? Well, the only thing we could do was crawl out of the back of the Jeep. And the friends that we were with crawl into their Jeep and left the Jeep there so that the guys on the base could find the Jeep. you know. But we
Uh,
we did a lot of,
them was
well,
good
that
old
was we were
days.
dumb. Oh gosh, we were dumb. This is back in the 70s. But it was it was fun. I mean, at that time I lived in a rural area which is called the hillside. Now the hillside is filled with $1 million homes, and rich people live out there. And for us kids, it was awesome because it wasn't built up like it is now. But it was fun. We were bad.
Oh, too funny. Yeah, well, it's a good thing the statute of limitations is run out.
Yeah, I'm glad too because we did a lot of things we weren't supposed to do. Our bases up north now are really secured compared to what they were when I was a kid. Because when I was a kid, you just go underneath the fence and knock the fence down after you hotwire the Jeep and take off. And we can't do that anymore. But could you imagine our parents if they had found if they had caught us? Oh, we'd have been in so much trouble. So Sean was telling a story about how he was getting almost electrocuted in the shower because remember. Okay, tell the story. Are you there? Gosh, are you frozen again?
Uh-oh. Are we glitched
I
again?
guess this is just really sad because I have a good connect. I'm looking at it right now. I have a really good connection right now because
It o- okay, it just
okay.
stabilized. Maybe it caught up
I mean,
finally.
Sundays are usually a better day because most everyone that's in the park is going to evening church and they're with their families wherever their families are at. And I have a lot of people that live here in the park. We live year round. Um, some
Yeah.
beautiful rigs. Oh my gosh, there's some gorgeous rigs. The new ones that are out, I have the toy haulers. Toy haulers are, I can only say one word for them. They're bitchin'. They are so cool. If we were ever to get one, that's what I would want was a toy hauler. Then he could just throw all his stuff in the back of it and we could just take off and do.
Okay, it's gonna glitch a little bit. I'm switching signals right now.
Scary. We're holding.
Okay, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Sweet. Okay, it worked. Nice.
Well, you can really tell I'm native.
I have to do that once in a while because working on a mobile system, you have to maintain your
Yeah.
signal.
I was saying I could really tell that I'm native. I got them funky native eyes.
Oh yeah, this is way more
Okay,
stable
good.
signal.
So
Yeah,
tell the
way
story
good.
about almost getting electrocuted in the shower.
Okay, well, a buddy of mine he was buying this house out in the valley, and we were going out and working on it on the weekends, and it was completely gutted, and the bathroom had a toilet and a shower, and it had hot water and everything. So I'd go in to take a shower, and I'd almost get electrocuted every time, and we could not figure it out because it wasn't just immediate. It was after about 5 minutes, all of a sudden you'd get this jolt of electricity through you, and it was like, what is going on? Well, we traced it and we tracked it and we could not figure out what was going on at all. And so uh, the well pump had gone out. So I was back there pulling the well pump, the head out, and realized that the ground uh, was not hooked up. The only thing that was grounding off of was the plumbing, which had separated from the ground. So anyway, the electricity was running all the way up the pipe to the drain. So yeah,
No, I
good
remember
times.
going out to that house out in the valley.
Yeah,
That
that was
was
quite the
I
house.
walked into the house and he said, "You stay the night," and I go, "Yeah, I'll stay the night." And it was like super quiet. It was so peaceful and it was beautiful out there. I absolutely loved it. It was gorgeous. But the house was something else. It was in need of Sean's demolition, which it got. I
It
mean,
it was a friggin'
they
nightmare, is
they
what it
gutted that
was.
thing big time. The thing that I always remembered was all
Yeah.
the helicopters going over because, well, we all know what goes on in Alaska back in those days. Um, so Sean would just tell me,
I don't know what
yeah,
you're
Sean
talking
would just tell
about.
me, don't worry about it. He goes, they're looking for people. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, they're looking for those people that are growing tomatoes indoors.
Yep. And now, guess what? You can legally buy it at the store. Jeez, like here in Oregon.
Yeah,
Here in Oregon, we're legal
go
too.
figure.
Yep. Don't
It's kind of a weird thing now.
to walk into one of the shops. It's like going to a produce stand.
Well, after going through the Reagan era with Just Say
Yes,
No and the DARE program and everything, and being inundated in that whole uh, philosophy of gateway drugs, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, I guess you guys were right. It's not that bad. It's better than alcohol, which is still
well,
legal, or tobacco, which is still legal."
the CBD oils though, they're so necessary at this point. They really are. Um, you know, I
And
work.
see, that's where always preached. I've always preached about how the government should do the testing as far as the medicinal properties for the plant, because I knew for a fact that seizure disorders can be greatly
Yep.
reduced from CBD. Okay, I am here to attest to
Yeah.
that. So I've always been all about the medicinal uses of it. And, I don't care about the recreational uses. That's
Yeah.
individual choice. And there's a lot of people out there that really should not partake, just like people that should not
Oh,
drink.
please. But yeah, I
So,
know. Or smoke, or drink coffee, or drink
yeah,
soda. Yeah.
yep. And because I don't drink, I drink soda once in a great while. Um, I have my addiction to Tropic Berry soda. Damn you, McDonald's. Damn you to hell.
Yeah.
Cheesy bacon fries and Tropic Berry Sprite. You can't get Tropic Berry Sprite anywhere else. What's up with
I have
that?
no idea. I have none. I looked for it in the grocery store for you and I couldn't find it. So,
I know. It's like, really?
but I have to.
So anyway, I'm going to try to find the tortelli syrups and try to come up with my own mixture for the Sprite Tropic
We
Berry.
went to Fred Meyer's yesterday, and I have to say, I'm not a big cheese eater, but our kid is. And while we were over there, I thought he was in cheese heaven because they have like half of the deli is covered with cheeses, and he was just like pulls the guy out, says to the guy, "Okay, tell me your favorite cheese. Tell me why you like it." I mean, it was so funny to watch him. Tell me why you like it. Tell me what the texture is. Tell me what the taste is like. And oh, this guy was just like going over everything with him, what it was. And so wound up buying like 20 something dollars worth of cheese that I'll probably never eat in my life, but he was just like in seventh heaven. So anyway,
Gee, it kind of sounds like he picked up some interviewing, researching
he's
methods.
you. He's just a very young version of you. But yeah, he was having himself a ball in there just going through things. And um yeah, we picked up some stuff, and tomorrow night I'm making him a panini with grilled chicken and then some of this cheese that he got. So it should be interesting. So I'm off Mondays and Tuesdays, and so Mondays and Tuesdays I cook. And the rest of the week, if he's off, he might cook. Normally he says, I want to go somewhere. And when you live in an RV that doesn't have an oven that works, or you're using electric, that's the only thing we can use. Um, you kind of just say, okay, we're going out to eat. I'm so sick of going out to eat. People don't real. I was raised in restaurants with my parents, and we always went out to eat. I like to cook. Sean likes to cook.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of eating out. I
Oh,
just
you never take Sean out to eat steak. I was telling a friend of ours he had made a steak and he was showing it to me and I was like, "Oh my gosh." So one time we were here in Oregon and he decides that, okay, we're going to go out to eat dinner. So we go to this place and it's a really nice place and we've got Kian with us. Kian's favorite food was calamari. From the time that he was 2, we would go to some place and they had calamari. That's what we ordered for him. Well, Sean orders a steak, okay? And Sean likes his steak blood rare, and there are no utensils that are available for him to use because he has pushed them aside and he grabs the steak with his hands and he eats the steak with his hands. So you do not take Sean to a restaurant to eat steak. And if it's fish, his big thing is take the breading off. So we'll sit there and he'll have a whole pile of breading. Why do you order it like that? Why don't you just order seared fish or something? Why do you gotta use the take the breading off of it? Just get seared fish.
because because not many restaurants anymore do baked or seared fish. They all have breading because they're institutionalized packaging.
From China. I don't know.
From
I
wherever.
don't.
But all I know is that when it comes to cod, see, I like fish and
I love
chips.
cod.
Okay, I do. I'm just not a big fan of breading because it absorbs all the
Yeah,
oils. And I really, really try to keep my oils intake
yeah.
down.
No, I have to agree.
That's actually been ever since I was a
Yeah.
kid.
Um, well, he always,
So,
whenever I breaded something, because I lightly bread anything, he would eat it. That wouldn't be a problem. He wasn't picking the stuff off of it. But I bred it the old-fashioned way with
Yeah.
milk and flour and eggs. Period. Nothing extreme. But
Well, we
yeah,
use
well,
panko.
we have Kian doesn't like panko at all. He won't order it. Um, he's just not a big because whenever I make cheese sticks at home, like those uh mozzarella sticks, I'll go get the mozzarella, cut it
Yeah.
up into slices, and then fry it up in olive oil. He'll eat it that way. But
Hmm.
that's just he'll eat it. The kid will eat anything that's fried. Let's face it. He's tall, he's skinny, he's 6'2". He eats everything there possibly is.
He does not get
No, he
that
gets
from
it from
me.
my side.
He does not get the fried food thing from me. I have never been a big fried food fan, ever.
Well, y'all grew up where I grew up, and that's what you got: cornbread, beans, fried taters, um, fried collard
Yeah, but
greens.
you guys eat you guys eat that stuff that's, you call it okra, but let's just call it for what it is.
Snot.
It's snot. It's snot.
Hey, here's the funny thing is,
It's snot
if I
good.
if I make okra and I desnot it because that's what I do, and then I fry it up, that kid is chowing down on them. Yes, my family was all from Oklahoma, and my grandmother, I mean, that was a staple thing. Little old Indian woman. So
Ugh, okra's nasty.
it's like
I don't like
a
okra.
lot of people have not heard of doing beef jerky stew, and my
Oh, I have.
well, I've made it for
Yum.
you, but my grandmother used to do the jerk
Well, I made
do
it
the
too.
jerky, and then you stew it, and then you do like you do anything else with potatoes and whatever else you put in there, corn, whatever. It's really good. It is. And I'll put up a recipe on Badass on YouTube. I do have a recipe that I'm going to put out, and that is with the bison. It's a bison stew, and I do have a video of it cooking. And I wished it had smell-o-vision because it was awesome. It really was.
Okay, guys, that's actually one of the things that we're going to be adding is Tan is going to be taking the reins on a camp cooking section, and she's going to be doing videos for that. And yeah, I can't wait. That sounds like a lot of fun because I actually am pretty good at camp cooking as
Yeah,
well,
yes.
so I'll be joining in on that as often as I
What he
can.
needs, what he
But
needs to do is he needs
yeah,
to make up a batch of his, what is it, 3 days it takes you to make your barbecue sauce? Yeah, four days.
4 days. Takes me
Four
four
days.
days to make a batch of
So
barbecue
he makes
sauce.
up a batch of barbecue sauce, and I grab myself a pork loin or roast or whatever, and you set the kid down on the spit, sitting next to the spit. He's turning the spit while the meat's cooking. Dad's over there slapping this barbecue sauce. So you know what to do with your kids now. They each want to have to take turns turning the spit. Yeah, no
Yeah,
motorized stuff here. You're doing all this by hand.
no. In fact, one of the things I'm going to be making again is a pepper roaster
Yep.
because yum.
Well, my favorite thing is to take Anaheim, or you call them acho peppers, take and put them on a
Yeah.
spit and cook the skins out around them and strip them all off, pull the insides out of them, stuff them with either jack cheese or cheddar cheese, and then stick them on the grill, let that cheese melt inside of them. Oh, yeah, that's good.
Oh, you haven't tried my recipe
Probably
yet.
not. You probably came up with quite a few.
You take just a couple. You take your
Hmm.
Anaheim and you roast it. You get the skin off. You take all the insides out. And then remember my famous seven meatloaf?
Yes. Put that roasted pepper in
You
there.
stuff it.
Your mom went one.
Yep. And then
Your
you
mom went one step
bread it
farther.
with panko.
Okay, your mom went one step
You bread
farther.
it with
Yeah,
panko
but she did something that
and
was really good, and she took corn tortillas, fried corn tortillas, and stuffed them in with that meatloaf. It was really good.
yeah. Well, this you take panko and then you take an equal amount of shredded cauliflower
Hmm.
and then you add some I add my seasoning, my special seasoning pack.
Yes, dear. Yes.
And then yes, I've got secret ingredients that I am not willing to share. Um, so anyway, you mix a couple
Excuse me.
eggs with it. Bless
Thank you.
you. But the cauliflower adds kind of a bite to it.
Really.
So it's really good with the Anaheim and then the pepper, and you bake it.
Mhm. Well, you're gonna have to write the recipe down. You have to. Seems to me that the cauliflower though would make a
Yeah,
lot of liquid because it's like I don't know, 60% liquid, you know? Does it add a lot of moisture to it?
you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised because the egg has a tendency to solidify the matrix, so it doesn't allow a lot of seepage.
Well,
So
that's good. But yeah, I really anybody who wants to put recipes in down, just remember those get shared. Uh, they belong to everyone. Once you put them online, everybody gets them. And I don't mind that because, you know, it's free. But my greatest love in life is cookbooks. I will sit down and I will read a cookbook before I pick up a novel because to me it's like walking through somebody's history because there's so much history in cooking. Um, and I do like the campfire cooking a lot because I was raised with it and I
yeah,
enjoyed it. When we went out as a kid, my grandparents were really they were hunters, and their big thing was javelina. And if you don't know what a javelina is, it's a big, dirty desert pig. And shot my first one when
they're also
yeah,
they're also little tiny pigs too.
well,
They come in all
yes, dear,
sizes.
they do. But I shot my first one when I was about 9 or 10 years old, and they stink because when you shoot it, you got to clean it.
That's
It's just like fish.
that's one of the things we were just talking about is somebody was telling me the worst place to live is next to a mink farm, and I would have to agree that that is a very bad place to live. But if you live next to a large pig farm, yeah,
Pretty nasty. They are
oh
cute.
yes, and it
They are
seeps.
cute when they're little. They are. And for those of you who are vegetarian, I'm
Yeah,
sorry, but there is nothing better than a suckling pig cooked on an open spit, and it is
oh yeah,
so good. I and Sean
it
will
is.
tell you that I eat more vegetables than I do anything else. But there are certain foods that you have to have the protein, um, and meat is a good source of protein. And I think
Um, Go ahead.
No,
I was just, no, stop that.
they love you.
I know. I love them too. You only have, I am.
No, I said you were frozen.
Yeah, I know I was frozen because Duo took over my screen.
Oh, really? Uh,
Yes, because I made the mistake of teaching my folks how to video chat, and now they can hijack my phone.
okay, not my fault.
I know. My bad.
So are they trying to hijack your phone again?
No, I told them if I don't answer the phone, it means that I'm live streaming. And they said, "How often do you live stream?" And I said, "Well, I live stream starting at 6:30. And I usually cut it off around 8 to 8:30. What time is it?" And she probably looked at the clock and went, "Oops."
Gotta love your mom.
I do. I do. She's in that special club of people that forget what day it is or what time it is or just call people whenever or
I'm sorry. I'm in that club too, and this is why he's making the comments because yesterday I called. I don't I don't work Monday and Tuesday, so Monday and Tuesday happens to be my Saturday and Sunday. So his Saturday and Sunday are Saturday and Sunday. So I'm up at Saturday calling him to make sure he's getting up for work. And of course he wakes up and his hair is all over and he's got this he's got this look on his face like, "Hi, hun. Do you know what day it is?"
like this,
And I'm like,
except it's a lot
"Yeah,
darker.
it's dark." And I go, "Oh my God, it's Saturday." Dang, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
So it's like this.
I said,
What time is it?
it's like, sorry, I'm sorry. Of course, he's really sweet about it. It's okay, babe. Okay, I'm going back to bed. Yeah, okay, good night. Sorry. Let's just hope I find
That's
let's
okay.
just hope I find a job where I have Saturday and Sunday off. So I won't be calling you and going, "Hey, it's time to
Yeah.
get up." I don't know. But I belong to that club, okay? I do belong to that club.
There's actually quite a few members of that club because lately I get drunk dialed by somebody that I actually just met like a couple
Oh,
weeks
really?
ago that tried to take something away from me.
Oh,
What what is it about me that people think they can just take my vehicles whenever they want? I don't get it.
I didn't take your vehicle.
It's called Grand Theft Auto, people.
I no, I have my own vehicle, and she's big. She's a big bottom girl. I like my car.
Well, I've got my, uh, for lack of a better term, my POS. The window doesn't roll up on the driver's side. Uh, it doesn't require a key to start it anymore.
Okay.
You know, the little things like that.
Kind of like the car.
Oh yeah, your duct tape and sheet metal job.
It was a POSM. It was a piece of sheet metal. You know, it didn't make a POS. It was
Piece
POS.
of sheet metal, yeah.
Yeah, it was a POSM. It was a piece of sheet metal. So the car that I had before was, I don't even remember what type it was. All I know is that the door was held on with duct tape. The window did not go up. It was permanently down. There was no heat in it. There was no air conditioning in it.
It was a
I couldn't drive.
wasn't it a Toyota
No, it
Corolla?
was a Toyota. No, it was a Nissan. It had
Oh,
it had
Nissan.
280,000 miles on it. When I drove it up to the place to, I was going to go buy another car, and I drove it up there, and the guy looks at it. He looks at me and he goes, "Oh, Tan." He goes, "I'm putting you in a car before you leave." And the thing was, is that I haven't made payments on a car in over 25 years. And so it made me kind of leery. And he found me a Ford Taurus. And it's one of these ones that's elite that has all the bells and whistles and gadgets on it that I still am trying to figure out what it is. Um, but it's a 2011, and I got it for $11,000, and it has 54,000 miles on it.
Nice.
So I believe I got a really good deal. And even Sean will tell you, it's an easy car to drive. It's so smooth. I mean, even as I was coming back from Redmond, driving through, I'd catch myself going 80 miles an hour. And when you're driving in,
So so you had to speed up at
I
that
had
point,
to
right?
slow down. Are you kidding? I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I'm coming around a curve and it says 35 miles an hour. I looked down at my speedometer and went, oh crap, I gotta slow down and make this turn. But it's so easy to drive, and it's so nice because I have Pandora on the radio because I listen to heavy metal or hard rock, and which is one of my favorite things to do out in the parking lot when I'm at work, because I just crank the radio and everybody.
You listen to the
I
devil's
listen
music?
to Nine Inch Nails. They happen to be my favorite. So
I'm guys, I'm kidding. I'm the biggest metalhead that she probably knows, so
yeah,
I yeah,
one of the reasons why
long
one of the
time.
reasons why he and I got along so well when we first met was because we liked the same kind of music. And then we liked a lot of other things. And we kind of liked each other too. So, yeah, look at him smile. We still kind of like each other.
Yeah, I'm all
He's all
right.
right. Yeah, he is all right. With all his what is it, idiosyncrasies. So, anyway, do we
Uh,
have?
well, all I know is
I said, do
what's
we have
that?
any more Alaskan tales or any other tales? Oh, do you remember driving the kids to Phoenix
Um,
on Highway 101? Do you remember what you did to the two kids as we're driving down Highway 101? And this is in California, guys.
I did so much to those poor
Oh, we're
kids.
we're driving down the road and it's night and it's dark out and of course it's been raining And as we're coming down through this thing, we're talking about the holidays and whatnot. So what's the first thing I do is I run over a rabbit. Okay. So what's Sean's remark to? Well,
Oh yeah.
No Easter baskets this year. And so my youngest turns around
No,
and
your mom killed the Easter bunny.
he turns around and he tells the kids that I killed the Easter bunny. It's like, okay, God, what are you telling these kids? Because I
I
have,
I said I thought it was a regular rabbit, but when I saw the basket full of colored eggs go flying, I knew they were screwed for Easter.
because I have two kids.
I told him I had to spend days picking the loose plastic grass out of the bumper.
Well, I have two kids from a previous marriage. Two, you know, they're wonderful kids, grown up, doing their own thing. And he tormented them when they were younger. He tormented them. He told them all kinds of things, like
My
like the
my favorite one was going stomping upstairs with the electric bill and telling the kids that they needed to fix it, start turning the lights off, and if they noticed how much static electricity was in the carpet because it kept leaking out of the outlets.
yeah, because
And
they were
so one of them decides, well, she's going to start stuffing stuff into the outlets to keep them from leaking electricity out into the carpet.
I forgot about that. Kids, they're so much fun.
That was
They're so
awesome.
much fun. But yeah, his big thing with the kid.
And
No,
they couldn't get away with
no,
anything. Those poor
you
kids.
know,
They tried to sneak out and I'd catch them. Then they tried to sneak kids in and I would torment them for the entire night until they would not have kids come over anymore because it just wasn't any fun for
yeah.
them. It was a lot of fun for me.
One of the best ones though that I can say is when my daughter decided that it was time to date. The poor kid that would come in to take her out, he would be the first one to say, "Where's your driver's license?" He'd go out to the car, write down the license plate number, and then he would scare the hell out of the poor kid. You know, you do anything to her, and you're gonna have to answer to me. And he would be like this far away from their face.
There was a there was a guy, and maybe you'll remember this. His name was Patrick. Patrick decided to show up on a motorcycle and wanted our daughter to go riding with him
Yes,
with one helmet.
no,
So Patrick almost got yanked off his bike
yeah,
because he decided to get mouthy with somebody that had been riding a lot longer than him.
yeah,
So he was gonna offer to let her wear his helmet so that he could be the fastest idiot on the road,
with
uh, not realizing that the passenger can't be the autopilot if something hits him in
yeah,
the face.
no,
This guy was a genius. So,
yeah. She had a few of those. Hey, but she wound up with the best one of all. You gotta admit, you know,
yeah,
the
yep.
guy that she has been with since high school. He's fantastic. He's wonderful. And when he gives a hug, you really know he's giving you a hug. And they have the most beautiful little boy. Oh my gosh. Jack is Jack is incredibly beautiful and very smart, and he reminds
Yep.
me of his mother. She's such a great mom. She really is. She and Josh, they're awesome. Couldn't couldn't be more proud of them than what I am because they're great parents.
I haven't got to talk to either one of them in
8 years?
over a decade. No, before
Oh,
that.
okay. So she's doing really,
So,
really good. And so is Jack. Josh is doing really
that's
good.
good.
Jack is into everything. Football, baseball, basketball, flying into space, you name it, the kid's
Cool.
into it. And she's just one of those moms that go do it, which is pretty much, I drag my poor kids everywhere. If I decided I was going mountain climbing, the kids went with me. If I decided I was going fishing,
Yeah.
the kids went with me. Um, it was, I think that my daughter's big thing was, can I just stay home with my friends? Do I have to hang out with my mom?
Lay by the
Do I
pool.
have to?
Lay by the pool. Play with the makeup. Do her
She's not
hair.
always like that all the
Hang out at the mall.
but she liked to hang out at the mall. She liked to be with her friends. She was my social butterfly.
Yeah. See that, and that's just something I've never been a social butterfly. I know some people disagree with me, but you've got to understand that there's certain ways that I have to cope with situations, and most of those are very nervous
If
orient.
he's if he's around if
So,
he's around the people that are just like the GPAA, okay? These are his people, just like you guys are his people. He could hang around with all of you and he just fine.
yeah,
You put him in another
totally.
setting, such as, I don't know, downtown Portland, and it's like, is there a rock I can hide under? Except for he did take
I
me to Chinatown once, and um, that was interesting. It's not something I want to do again because I'm not.
well, I make myself go through those situations, and I force myself, like driving through Portland. I okay, this I guess this is a good story. I refuse to go through San Francisco. I always
I had to
have.
drive through it.
Okay, it freaks me out. I can't be a passenger in a vehicle going through San Francisco. I can't be a driver for sure because I freeze up. I get such bad anxiety. I've never encountered that in any other city, and I don't know why it happens, but I know that when I get into San Francisco, I literally freeze up. My brain shuts down. I couldn't tell you what happens or anything. It's
No,
kind of
we
weird,
when we drove
but
when we drove
yeah,
through San Francisco, when we were taking, because we did have to go through San Francisco because we had to go across the bridge. And we're getting right to San Francisco. He had it timed, so we were going in at night. We weren't going in during the day. It was at night. He did not, he was just like, I can't do this during the day. And okay, so we go through it. There's nothing more creepier than going through San Francisco at night. And you see the old movies where they have the newspaper going across the road, and I was expecting zombies or something to come out. I mean, it was that creepy. And then we get to the bridge, and I had never driven across the bridge before. And that was the Golden Gate, right? San Francisco.
yeah, well, yeah, that when we were driving towards the Golden Gate, we were going
Yeah,
through Oakland, which Oakland in itself is just kind of
massive.
concrete jungle,
Yeah,
creepy, like she
yeah.
was saying. But when you get into actual San Francisco itself, like I said, I feel, I can't even describe it. I feel like somebody puts this huge weighted blanket over my head, and I just want to crumple up and just not
Well,
function.
I drove to
It's
San Francisco. I
bizarre.
drove across the bridge. It's not something I want to do again. It just creeped me out going across the bridge because it's a suspension bridge, and you do feel when you're going across the bridge. And I was just like,
Oh yeah.
I'm hightailing across the bridge. Once I get to the other side, okay, I'm all right. Sean, in the meantime, has ducked his head down in the passenger seat, ducked his head down so he can't see nothing. God forbid if I took a wrong direction and wound back up into San Francisco, we'd be screwed. But it's even here in Portland. Portland has lots of bridges, lots. And I don't like double-decker bridges. I don't like the
Yeah.
ones stacked on top of each other. Um, it's just confining and it's scary, and I just have no desire. I I just don't go into Portland. The last time we went into Portland was the last time we went into Portland. If I could keep from ever going back into Portland, I would. I don't like it. Don't like anything about it.
Well, was it the GPAA
Yeah, when we went
show?
through that one, because I haven't been back through, and it's just
It's it's kind of it's a little entertaining when you get two people that suffer anxiety driving through Portland, live streaming
I'm
it.
looking at him going, oh God, I'm scared. Okay, he's looking at me, oh God, I'm scared. You can tell we do not belong here. We belong in the country, in the woods. We belong in the mountains where there's our
I
next.
I belong as far away from asphalt as possible. That's where I thrive.
I just I tolerate it. He asked me all the time, how do you deal with it? And I said, I don't think about it. Because I live in a little bitty town. Well, it's not little bitty anymore, but live in a little town called Woodburn. And it's like little Mexico because 60% of the population is Hispanic. They're wonderful people, and I love every one of them. They like me for some reason. I don't know. They like me. I'm always called Mama. So Mamacita sometimes, except for I tell them I'm not little. And but it's a nice little town. It's not bad. You sucking your thumb, honey? Okay. He doesn't. He doesn't. I'll tell you where it's really I enjoy going if you're going to go to a downtown area. That's Salem. Believe it or not, Salem is pleasant. It's sweet. Old buildings are still setting up there. Um, I like the Salem downtown area.
I'm not a real big Salem fan.
To each their own. As small towns, I think that they're great. You know, my favorite small town, San
Well, I
San Luis Obispo has to be my
Salem
favorite.
is what are you talking about? Salem is not a small town.
It's a small city.
Salem is a
It's a small
city.
city. It's not a great big city. It's spread out.
It's the capital of
Yeah, yeah.
Oregon. It's not a small town. Wasilla is a small town. Well, no, Wasilla
Strip
is a small
town. It's a
city.
small strip town.
Salem is like Salem is like 10 times the size of
But
Wasilla.
it's pleasant. I mean, it's not hard.
Probably even bigger than
Well,
that.
it's not hard to drive around Salem. I mean, I prefer to go there any time of the day than go to Portland. There's just nothing in Portland that interests me
Well,
except for GPAA.
that's kind of, that's kind of comparing apples to oranges, though. I mean, you could compare, Portland to LA, but as far as uh, an actual skyscraper type city goes, Salem is, it's a city, but it's not one of them.
Tan doesn't do LA. Sean has to be the one to drive in LA. I don't do LA. I don't I don't
Yeah,
like
I'm an aggressive driver. I drive very aggressively in LA. I fit right in, but I try to get through LA as fast as possible because, like San Francisco, Sean doesn't like LA. I got stuck there in the LA
yeah, I
riots.
did. That
I was at the bus station
the only
in
white guy there.
East LA. Yep.
Calling me on the phone telling me, okay, first mofo comes up to me, I'm gonna do something. They left him alone.
And they'd walk up to me because I was out in front of the bus station because everybody was inside of the bus station. I mean, it was literally shoulder to shoulder throughout the entire place. So I was out on the front steps with maybe three other people that were like real close to the doors in case they had to beat feet
Yeah.
inside. Well, I had my suitcases and everything sitting there about halfway down the steps. And these guys would be walking up to me all like, yeah, we're going to start some trouble. And I'd look at them and smile. And they'd go, yeah, we're going to go start trouble over there. So I got left alone.
Yeah, but it was very
You know,
worrying.
plus I sat there and was playing with my lighter going, who wants to be lit on fire? There's buildings burning everywhere. And it's like, yeah, who's going to be my first customer? Come on up and try to rob me.
There's nothing to rob. Take your suitcase. What? It's got all your clothes in it.
So anyway,
No,
that was a very interesting bus ride.
I bet. Well, Greyhound's always interesting to
I
ride. Not.
Well, you remember the
Yeah.
Rajneeshis?
How can we forget them?
So there was a Rajneeshi that was on the bus, and when he got on there, he seemed all fine. When he got off the bus, he actually was removed off the bus uh, by the police because in a 5 hour stint, he had finished a fifth off
Gee.
and was sloppy, stinking drunk by the time the cops took him off the bus. And he had soiled himself, urinated all over himself, and puked all over the bus. And so they had to wait for another bus.
Yeah.
Good times.
The only thing that I remember
Greyhound.
was the Ranishis that were in Oregon. Do you remember that? Oh my God, he's
The
out of
what?
coffee. The Rodnishis that were in Oregon that built their little city. They finally sold the town.
Uh, Funny
Uh-oh.
story. Guess where Sean was working?
At the town?
Yeah, actually, the company I work for right now got the contract to go out and work at the youth camp that was once known as Rajneeshpuram.
Really?
So now it is a youth camp that's got a big water slide and they've got a whole bunch of cool stuff out there, but it's still in the middle of the friggin' desert. So
Yeah. Well,
anyway, it's a young life camp. They've got camps all over the world, I guess. And anyway, it's a nice place. I was out there for about 9 months straight, and yeah,
well, I I love living on the coast, but I will not live on the coast anymore. You broke up. What?
no. Not with the Cascadia Subduction Zone about ready to go.
No, I just that was Sean at one time he couldn't speak, believe it or not, but he couldn't speak. And he set up he
Don't you miss them's the good
oh
old
no,
days,
I
don't
do
you?
not miss them. Because we used to write in tablets and I had to teach him how to finger spell and oh it was not fun. But this is what he did. So we never had a honeymoon, so he decided to surprise me and rented a hotel room out on the coast when it was storming because he knew that I love the storms off the coast. That was the most romantic thing he did, and he did it all by the internet. And I thought that was really, really cool. And I made him a big dinner because we got a room that had a kitchenette to it, and it was just really we sat out there and watched the lightning hit the water, and it was really beautiful. I'd love to do it again.
And then where did we go?
We went to God, I gotta think of the town. Uh,
The casino.
God, I can't think of the town.
We
What?
went to the casino, Lincoln City.
Oh,
We I took you to the
Lincoln City.
casino in Lincoln City.
And he won as soon as he sat down. He can't talk. Remember, he can't talk. So first thing he does, he sits down and he puts his money into the machine and pops up with how much? How much did you win?
It was like
Yeah, it
$280
was
or something
funny
like
because
that.
how do you tell
But
anybody?
and it was funny because they were trying to make me play more, and I was done. I played one slot machine one time, and I
Yeah.
was done. And then they got mad. And then I think didn't you want to go play bingo or something? And then I took off to the arcade like
No,
I
I was
normally do.
playing playing nickel slots, and I had already won, I don't know, a couple $100.
Yeah.
And I usually do pretty good in the casino. But he uh, he decided that he wanted to go play video games, and so when I was done, I went looking for him and found him with all the kids in the yeah in the game room. And of course, my biggest joy is playing pinball. So we went to the casino and played pinball. That's what we wound up doing. But as I said, we came.
I like air hockey
Yeah, I
too
know. He just beats the crap out of me in air hockey.
because there's nothing more satisfying than destroying a 9-year-old at air hockey.
And then being ticked off, throwing the thing across the room at you. But no, that was a wonderful trip. I totally enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. And like I said, I'd love to do it again. Hint, hint.
Yeah.
So,
Well, they've got a place here that has go-karts that I've been wanting to
well, I know
try
you
out.
took me by this one. You took me by one place, and you go, "I want to take you here." And I was like, "Okay, what is
Yeah,
it?"
that's the one. That's they've got mini golf. They got mini golf. They've got go-karts. See, I figure it this way is okay, if you have to have kids to have fun, then what's the point of life? I mean, because you're only going to have those kids at home for like 18 years, well, these days, until they're like 40. And then, then you're going to have to kick them out. Otherwise, you're never going to have grandkids.
I don't know if we're ever gonna have grandkids. So I got Tiana. We got Jack, but Kian, I don't know. He's like, because I've always told him, I love kids and whatnot, but they're not a necessity of life if you don't, if you can't afford them, don't have them. And his whole thing is, I don't even have time enough for a relationship, let alone having kids. Look at Sean, just like,
Well, that's kind of like treating them like pets, though, isn't it? If I can't afford it, then I'm not going to have one.
well, well,
I'm just going to have to take it down to the pound.
there's too many out there that, they just, I don't even want to go into this one. I really don't, because there's just, if you listen to my sister, who's a teacher, and what a struggle it is for her to raise all 30 something students that she has, because more than half of them, the parents are drug addicted or alcoholics, or they just don't pay any attention to them, or, and the kids don't have breakfast at home and can't afford lunch. And here she's spending
Yeah.
out of her pocket to, make sure that they have what they need. And, it's just sad. And she's such an incredible lady. I mean, really, she's an incredible lady because she just gives so much of her heart and soul into those kids.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think that's one of the hopes that I've always had with this project, especially is giving people an outlet because in this society, it's gotten really weird. Everybody's gotten introverted and they think that the only safe place is in their house. Well, actually, that's a lot more dangerous than going out and gold panning. I mean, seriously, it's
no interaction. See, they have interaction online, but it's not the same. You need your family. You need the, need to be able to do things. Hey, I was a kid that grew up, we drank out of the cooler hose, for water. We um, played outside in the mud. Uh, we were in the car with our parents.
rode bikes without
Yeah, we
helmets.
were in the car with our parents with the window rolled up, and both of them are smoking. And um, uh, we ate
Do you
candy,
remember? Do you
cigarettes.
remember as a kid?
I remember a
Do
lot.
you remember as a kid where this was your only seat belt?
Yeah, mom's arm. Yes. I remember. Okay, so my mom accidentally.
That was that was your only seat belt.
Yeah, my mom accidentally, when I was a kid, and I was probably about, I don't know, 10 years old, somebody pulled out in front of her, and the first thing she did is she stuck her arm out, smacked me in the face, broke my nose. That's why it's crooked. Broke my nose. I get home, my grandmother, who is where I normally lived with my grandmother. But anyway, if I get home and my grandmother takes one look at me, my face is all what happened to her? And Mama was just like, I
If I had a nickel, if I had a nickel for every time I've had my nose broke.
never touched him. I never touched him. Not saying I didn't want to.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to cry
Oh,
BS on
really?
this
When did I
one.
break your nose?
Okay. Okay. There was one time to where somebody was rocking themselves up in bed and their knee went directly into my
I was
face.
rocking myself.
Do you remember
Was I
that?
pregnant?
Yeah, to where how you when you get up out of bed, how you
Yeah.
rock
Yes, I remember because I was
and my
pregnant with
nose
Ken.
was
Yeah.
and then I had yeah, and then I had to shove pencils up my nose and reset it
I'm sorry. I remember that.
again.
Uh,
That was that was a really interesting apartment that we lived at. It was right next to a golf course and the zoo. So every time an animal
oh my
escaped,
gosh, I remember.
it was in our backyard.
So they had a problem with the wolves getting out, and if it wasn't the wolves, it was what was it? The
The
lynx.
lynx.
The lynx were getting, because lynx are wild in Alaska. And this zoo that we had, that had
Yeah.
it by us, is on Lower O'Malley, down on the hillside. And it's a small zoo, but what they did is they rescued animals that had been hurt. And it's, they even had an elephant at one time that, of course, they shipped out because elephants don't belong in Alaska. And so,
They 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 rescued all the animals from Cal Worthington and
yeah,
opened a zoo.
go by cow, yeah. But anyway, we get these notices on the TV, going across the TV. Such and such animal has escaped. Call this number if you happen to see one. Keep your children inside. I mean, it was just a long list of things that they would put down and tell you what you're supposed to do. And we were just like, well, I guess this is Alaska. You already know what's going on. So, but it's not.
Or they put out or they put out muchly needed public service announcements like, please, if you go and visit the zoo, do not go up and stick your arm inside Binky's cage.
That was stupid people, because they had to put him down. Some stupid
Some
woman
people,
climbed up on the cage, and he grabbed her and mauled her, and I believe she lost her arm. But stupid
yeah,
people, stupid. So I do have to say I do like the Oregon Zoo, or what they call the Washington Zoo here. And the animals are treated very well, and they try to make the habitat, like where they're from. My favorite enclosure is the elephant enclosure, because I think that they've done a really good job with that. Um, I do like it, but OMSI is probably my favorite. If I have to go into Portland or by Portland or whatever, going to OMSI. If you ever get a chance to come to Oregon and you're in Portland, don't miss out. Go to the OMSI. I mean, in OMSI is a great place to take kids.
okay. OMSI, the Oregon Museum of Science and Industry. It is
Yeah.
absolutely killer.
It
I've
is.
been going there ever since I was a little kid. And they've actually moved. I think they moved twice. No, they moved once since I was a kid. But just incredible place. They're the ones that have the cool laser rock shows. So
Well, they
yeah,
did one not too long ago to Led Zeppelin. That was awesome.
cool.
Didn't go to it, but I know it was
Yeah,
awesome.
I haven't been to one of those in 20 plus years. It's actually no, the last one I went to was Kian's first one, and Kian got sick.
He did. He did.
So,
And how old was he? 4, 5?
um, let's see, it was in 2005, so
Really?
he was older than that.
2005? I don't remember
Yeah, yeah, because it was when you guys lived down here in Wilsonville.
okay.
So, and then I came down to visit, and
Oh,
that's where we went.
this is when Cassandra was still alive. Okay.
Yeah,
Cassandra
yeah,
was a very dear friend of mine who uh she was, and I took care of her for many years, and she finally succumbed to her illness, and we lost her Christmas Day, which was her favorite day. So, but Wilsonville's a nice little town. I don't mind Wilsonville. I don't want to live in Wilsonville,
No,
but it's a nice, it's a clean
I'm
town.
I do not
It's
want to
got bigger
live.
sense.
I don't want to live anywhere on that side of the mountains.
I know, I know. We all want to move to the other side of the mountains where he's at. As long as I've got pine trees and mountains, I'm cool. But once you take the pine trees, the mountains, and all the stuff
Yeah,
that I really love away, I don't want to live there. Like Redmond or Bend,
yeah,
desert.
yeah. Well, yeah, it is what it is. I mean, if I had my dithers, I'd be back up in
Well, go,
Alaska,
yeah,
just
go
straight
figure.
up.
Okay, so where would we both
So,
rather live? We'd both rather live in Alaska. The only difference between what we want to live in is you want to live out in the middle of BFE. And if you don't know what that means, look it up on the internet. And my thing is that I want to live at least close enough to where I can go to a grocery store or, you know, have some kind of convenience, but he wants to stick me out in BFE somewhere. And I'm like, really? Do I have to fly out? I mean, I like to fish, I like to hunt, I like to go gold mining, I like to go gyms, I like to go do a lot of things, but I still want to have the convenience of going to a grocery store and buying groceries.
hey,
What?
look at the chat.
I can't. It isn't on. What's
Barbie, my favorite place is BFE.
really? You like BFE? Hi,
Yeah,
Barbie. I'm sorry, honey. Anybody? I can't see any of the posts. I can't see anything other than this man's face. And that's okay.
I'm
No, I
sorry.
don't mind your face. Kind of like it, actually. I love the beard. Yes.
Makes me look distinguished.
Yeah.
Quite.
Just handsome. That's all.
You were raised there? I was born and raised
And
there.
BFE?
Actually, no, I take that back. Yep. I was born in California,
Murder capital of
and
the
then
world.
7 weeks. Yep. And then 7 weeks after I was born, my parents had to chase me into Oregon because I couldn't get out of California fast enough. So even as a newborn, I was trying to escape California. So anyway,
Yeah, and me, I was
I've been
stuck in
trying to.
Arizona. Uh,
Do you hear
what?
that? They're having a party or something next
They
door.
didn't invite you?
Do I look like the type that gets invited to a lot of parties?
No, but I can tell you a
Hmm.
party. I can tell you a party in Alaska. So I had John, I'm not going to give his last name, but had John, who's the owner of the hotel, actually come down to the reservation department, which was where I ran the reservation department at the hotel. And anyway, he come downstairs and he says to me, he goes, I don't want Sean to get in trouble. Okay, why is Sean in trouble? Well, I decided to invite some girls from the Bush Company, and if you don't know what the Bush Company is, it's a stripper place in Alaska, and it's huge. And apparently, he had invited a bunch of girls to go up to 7Gs with him, and antagonized Sean the whole entire way up the tram. But he didn't want Sean to get in trouble.
Yes, there were
So the
several.
thing was is that when Sean came home, he didn't know that Johnny came and talked to me. So when Sean came home, he has this sheepish look on his face and said, "I just went through. I don't know what I went through."
It
He
was
goes,
hell. And
he goes, John invited. I think there were six girls. Were there six girls that went up with him?
yeah, something like
Okay,
that.
so six girls going up on the tram. It was between four and six girls going up on the tram. Uh, lap dancing, were they? And Sean was the main person that they were. Yeah. So when he got home, he had to tell me about it. I already knew about it, but I let him go. I
The-
let him go through the whole ordeal.
okay, guys, I know this sounds really hard to believe, and this seriously, I've hung out at a lot of strip clubs, and I'm not there to watch dancers. Okay, I've
No.
never hung out at strip clubs because of the dancers. Most strip clubs have the best pool tables in existence because they don't get used hardly ever. And that's what I always did is I'd go in and play pool. And then when I was done playing pool, I'd leave. And the dancers would even come and play pool with me because they knew that I was no threat to them and that I would actually have their backs if any creeps came around. So,
So you have to
but
understand. So he decides
when
that
I was
he's taking me
targeted
to the
like
company.
that, huh?
I said he wanted to prove a fact to me that what he did when he went in. So there was a couple friends that went with us. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
we go into the Bush Company, and of course there's girls and they're naked and whatever, and I don't care one way or another. Well, one comes up to me and her name is Candy. Really nice girl. I like Candy. She is a sweetheart. Tried to get me to be a mother to the groups, come in and work for them, and I would watch over it. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Because the first time some guy put his hand on your ass, I'm not going to go beat the crap out of him. So, anyway, Candy tells me she puts her hand on my shoulder and she goes, "You have the nicest guy." And I said, "Okay." She goes, "He never comes out here." She goes, "We always go in there." I went, "Okay." She goes, "We're playing pool." She goes, "We're safe around him." I said, "Well, that's really nice to know." But yeah, that was I don't have a problem with strippers. These girls are making money just like anybody else is. And you know, back in the heyday when I was about 18 years old, I used to do cocktail waitressing up in Alaska. Of course, I didn't know how old I was, but and one of the places was the China Doll Club. And a girlfriend of mine couldn't make it to work and asked me if I would go in. I made more tips than I could possibly think. But of course, everybody knows I'm well endowed. So I made a lot of money, but I only did it a couple times, and it's not something that I would do again. Not now, but back in the day, that was just shoot. How many times do you can go to work and bring home 500 to 800 to even $1,000 a night and just bring cocktails to people, you know? But I don't have a problem with it, and I didn't have a problem with him going because I've always trusted him. The girls, on the other hand, that's another story. But him, I always trusted. And if you can't trust your man, then you shouldn't have him. Okay? He's going, geez. It's not like his last marriage. His last
No,
marriage really sucked.
it's
That,
sorry, I'm choking.
it's an understatement. Is that what you're saying?
I was choking.
Sorry. Pat you on the back.
Yeah, it was horrible. I call it my stint in Folsom Prison.
Well, now he's freed.
So,
Now he
yep,
deals with me again.
absolutely.
You know, I
What's
said now
that?
he deals with me again.
This is way different, though. This is way, way different.
Hmm.
So,
We've always been friends,
anyway, yep,
and he's always
definitely.
going to be one of my best friends.
I have to get
Yep,
packing. I hate to cut this
please
short,
we're
but
changing
I
subject.
have to get this packed up.
Yep, I know you do. You got it. You got to
This
go.
the subject is I got to be up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and it's past 8:30.
And you know who's not
So,
calling you in the morning.
because I'm calling you?
Okay, I'll be up.
No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that to you. Alrighty, guys. Well, we love each and every one
Thanks
of
for
you,
thanks for listening to
and
us.
you make sure to take tonight. Tonight was a interesting one, for sure.
Okay, but we love you
We're
guys.
gonna try to stick to the regular format. We're gonna try to stick to the regular format on all the rest of the days. Monday through Friday. But I think Sunday is going to be kind of like this. It's just going to be kind of like
Story time.
good old sitting down in our living room.
Or you
So,
can, or you can, you're in my
but
bedroom.
anyway, yeah. Alrighty, guys. Well, do you have anything else to add?
No, I love everyone. And you guys take care. We'll see you another time Monday. Or yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully at 6:30. All according to what Sean has, what he has going on because he's got to go take his truck apart and do all the other stuff to it. So we'll post something just in case if we're going to be later or if we can't be on at all. You'll get a notice letting you know. But know that we love you. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And go for it.
All right. Okay. Alrighty, guys. We love each and every one of you. Make sure to take care of yourselves and each other. And as always, we are out of here until the next time. Peace.